Hey guys, welcome to Blazing Guitars, where we talk about worship, gear, music, guitar, and everything in between. My name is Blaze Nelson, and today I wanted to take a quick look at the gear and tips that we've learned while live streaming our music services during COVID. So hopefully by now, a lot of churches should know what they're doing and have a good plan of action. We've been in COVID land for about 5 months, so hopefully people kind of know what they're doing and are kind of in a good rhythm. But I just want to throw this video out to maybe give some ideas. Maybe if you go back into a lockdown, these are some ideas that you can implement. And I also wanted to just kind of show the progress that we've made over these 5 months. And I think one thing that's really important as worship leaders and as guitarists is to always pursue a little bit more excellence. So, you don't have to be the best in the world, but I think it's always important to try to be a little bit more excellent than you were the week before. I think that's important in band. I think that's important in life and work and all, any area that you want to look at. So before we jump into this, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can see my future content, and let's get going. So the first week, back in March, we decided that we needed to start looking at this. We're a really, really small church, and it's intimidating when you look at the other churches and they have all these light shows and are doing all these crazy things to think, man, I'm never going to be able to get to a spot like that. So we don't have much of a budget. So I just went to Best Buy and I purchased the Samson Satellite for about $100, and I got a little $30 tripod. And the Samson Satellite has a micro USB to a lightning bolt connector, and so I just plugged it into my iPhone. We set these up at the front of the stage and just live stream straight to Facebook. And that actually worked pretty well. It actually has better quality than I would think. This is more of a speaking microphone, so it clips out really easily and readily, but for a speaking microphone this works great. So that actually works pretty well. We still use this as a backup if something in our chain goes wrong, and if the internet crashes and all we have is our phones, we still will pull this out and point it at the stage, and it works pretty well for that. But we tried to get a little bit fancier the next week. The next week we went into lockdown, so there was no more in-person church services. So we went to my family's house, my parents' house, and set up a bunch of lamps in the living room. And I have an older version of the Yeti Blue, which I'm using right now to record. And we set everything up, set a webcam up on my Mac, and it was awful. And I think it's the Yeti mic is actually pretty good. Like I've recorded some guitar and stuff with it, but I think just streaming straight to Facebook really compressed it. The lighting was all off and kind of crazy. So that didn't work really well. So the next week we decided to start pre-recording services, and we just used the camera on my MacBook. My wife and I would record on Thursdays, and my little brother would come over and do the slides. So we had just the slides on the computer screen, so we could see it as we were recording. We could see the computer screen with the slides there, so that I wouldn't forget the words specifically. And what we would do is we would record each song during practice and then make adjustments between each song. So hopefully by the final song we were good to go, and then we would just press record and record all the way through. And it gave it a little bit of a more natural vibe. It recorded all the voice cracks and mistakes and all those things, and I think it actually ended up working pretty well. Initially we started out with I have a little PA system back here, so the Harbinger HA80, we plugged into that and went straight into this interface that I'll have linked below. And then that sounded pretty dry the first couple weeks. So at some point I tried to go from the line out from the Harbinger into an Electro Harmonix Cathedral, which I've since sold, and straight into this. But that worked really well for the worship part. But when you're speaking, it just sounded ridiculous having all that reverb on your voice in a small room like this. So what we ended up doing is I pulled out my TC Helicon Perform VG. I've done a gear demo of this, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. This is an amazing little thing. It combines the guitar inputs and the vocal input into one output. So I ran straight out from this into the interface, and my wife, we ended up plugging into this 11 rack right here. So she'd plug in the mic input. I had a little bit of compression, a little bit of reverb on her voice, and we would plug that into the other side of the interface. And that's what we've ended up doing, and it's worked really well. We ended up getting better lights. I now use my phone to record, so this is just like I'm recording right now. This is actually recording using the phone as a web camera, which has worked really well. And eventually I learned some techniques like compression in Premiere Pro. I, for the longest time, did not understand compression, and finally figured that out. And so we would record. I would stick it in Premiere Pro, throw a little bit of compression on it, and then combine it with the rest of the service, and then we would upload it to Facebook and do what's called a Facebook premiere, which is where it acts like it's live, but it's already uploaded to the server, so we didn't have to worry about any internet outages or anything like that. And that's what we've been doing if we record at home, and it works really, really well. I really enjoyed that. I feel like instead of trying to make it live, doing that premiere has been really helpful, because you can just show up on Sunday and enjoy and not have to worry about outages or anything crazy like that, because it's already on the cloud. So that's what we've ended up with. If you want to hear what that sounds like, we did a cover of All I Need by Citizens, and I'll have that linked below. If you want to go watch that, that's my voice and guitar running through the TC Helicon, and my wife's voice running through the 11 rack, like I just mentioned. So that's what we've kind of done. We're looking for better ways to improve, every single week. Hopefully getting a little bit better. Since then, we've gone back into the building. We purchased a little Canon Vixia HF800, R800, I'm sorry, and are learning how to do that. But for our home recording, this is what we've been doing. So if you have any ideas, or if you guys have been doing something different, let me know in the comments. If you want me to explain anything better, maybe I missed something in this video, let me know, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching.